All right. Another week. Week 9. These weeks seem to click off pretty quickly. So just back to work, and like I told our team yesterday, a good win, and we enjoyed it for 24 hours or less, and on the ride home. But like I keep saying, I really enjoy this group. I feel like our leadership's as good as it's ever been, and it was they played confident, and they played with an expectation that they were going to go up there to win, and so it's not a surprise, or they come in the building wanting to get better, and I feel like we had a great practice. Nobody's satisfied with being 4-4 and 2-2 in the league, and we want to be better than that, and we understand that each week is just equally important. So it's back to work and business as usual, and if we have that approach, we'll give ourselves a chance to win this Saturday against another good football team. I think Coach Mallory and Indiana State's a really good team, really well coached, disciplined, and they came here and beat us last year, and it's always a tough place to play, and we gotta be at our best. So I expect for our guys to come out and have a great week of preparation, and if we do that, like I said, we'll give ourselves a chance. Injuries, getting some guys back this week. Going into the week, Quay was a little bit banged up, but played pretty good, and didn't get re-injured. He'll be good to go. I'm trying to think. Trey Strong will be out. He's getting imaging this week, and was just a tough play. Didn't look good on the film. Didn't look good out there on the field. Got cut right when his leg was coming down, and unfortunate situation. So Trey will be out for the foreseeable future. We'll get word this week exactly, what it is. And then Keontae Stallworth will be back. He was in practice last night. I'm trying to think. You guys can help me out. Yeah, Bryce practiced last night full, and will be playing this Saturday. Bryce Notary. And then I'm trying to think who else. Blake Parzich will be back this week. Has been back with the team for a couple weeks, and then it hasn't dressed, but will dress this week. And then trying to think who else. I think that's about it.
I think this is your 6th road game. Have you ever woken up the last 2 weeks? Like, have we played a home game yet this year?
Yeah, I've said that since the beginning. We understand what our schedule is, and you look at what's up next, and you just go with it. So haven't really been focused on that. We like to play at home. We've won a couple games at home, but we're looking forward to getting on the road again. I think this team enjoys being around each other. We're used to the routine. This is always a good trip, just because we practice here at home, and then we take a couple-hour trip up to Effingham and stay the night, and then we bus over that morning. It's a little bit when you change time zones, our schedule, but the guys really just get in a routine on game day, and it's 4 hours before you eat pregame meal, and you bus over. You get to the stadium the same amount of time. So, but it is a little bit earlier start, but we've been used to all those different schedules. So, I think it'll be good.
What do you do with a situation like Indiana State where you're close enough for a bus, but it starts at 12? Do you go the night before, or will you drive there?
Yeah, no, we'll go up the night before to Effingham. So we'll practice here. We'll leave here at 1 o'clock. We'll get up there and have our normal routine. That's how we've always been. We play Indiana State even back ever since I can remember playing there a couple times. That's usually been the routine.
And is being more physical and apparently having more depth big reasons why you have no wins?
Yeah, well, I think any coach would sit up here and say, if you want to be successful, you want to win close games, you want to play in this league, you got to be physical. You gotta be able to impose your will. I mean, it's gonna, like I said, once you get in this part of the season, you're gonna know who your opponent is, and they're gonna know who you are. And a lot of the wins and losses come down to just the fundamental things. Number one, taking care of the football. We won the turnover battle 5-1. But it's being able to line up and being more physical than the person in front of you, winning one-on-one matchups. It doesn't matter if you're a DB and wide receiver, or you're a fullback and a linebacker, or you're offensive line, defensive line. I mean, it's about having a physicality about you, and it's running down on kickoff and being more physical than them. And I think our team understands that, has continued to grow with that. But I feel like we have a physical football team. You know, someone like Jacob Garrett that's as valuable as anybody on our team, and you know, Javon and you know, even DJ, and being just a physical run. You know, I tell our offense all the time, some of the most exciting plays for me is when we get downhill and go get 4 or 5 yards on just an inside zone, and it's just a physical run play, and it's 2nd and 5, and those are great plays. And our team's buying into that. I think that we've been physical on defense with our pressures and up front. And so we got to continue to do that. I think games are won in November for sure. The weather starts to change. You really don't know in the Midwest, you know, what the weather's going to be. It's probably not going to be as nice as it was last Saturday. Again, the rest of the season when you play in the dome and it's 70 and you're playing on turf and there's no conditions. So we got to be you know, ready to win games. If it's rainy, if it's cold, if it's, you know, overcast, if it's whatever it is, we got to, you know, that's what it's going to come down to as far as winning football games.
Playing a game in November, that means that how much is that going to improve your practices and, you know, just improve the outlook of the team?
Well, I think our best practices have been when we were 2 and 4, and you know, they understood. I mean, we've always had a commitment to, even early in the season, we've had good practices and we've came out there, but just an attention to detail to make sure everything's right, you know, and so I don't expect it to be any different, you know. Our backs are, you know, against the wall. You should have a chip on our shoulder. You know, we're not a top 25 team, and we're not and that's what we tell, and that's what people think about you. We got to go out there and earn it and prove it every single day. And like I said, if we do that, then, and I expect us to come out and practice well the next 2 days, and then I think they're learning that, you know, what it takes to win. You know, we've won 2 games in a row. Like I said, we're still a 4-4 team, and but they've seen that they practice well and they have that type of energy and they finish practice that way, then the results have been better on Saturdays. So I think they'll continue to do that.
You're always making an adjustment as a quarterback, but what have you done to try to prepare, help Gray, you know, switching in between him and Javon? He's done that really pretty well, but not all quarterbacks can do that.
Yeah, no, it's not always the easiest thing, but I think he's done a good job of that, you know, just in the flow. That's how we practice too, you know. So if Javon's in there, I think if you know, we practice that way, and it'd just be like, you know, another run play, I think. So just part of what we do on offense, and he does a good job with managing that and getting us in and out of the huddle and knowing where he's got to go and what the play is. And so it's important for him to stay in a rhythm, but I don't think it's been an issue.
I mean, I'm not trying to create anything here, Nick, but should I stop asking, are you going with Correa even if Stone's healthy at this point? He's that well he's played?
Yeah, no, Stone will be the number 2 guy this week. You know, I think last week was the first week that we would have felt comfortable putting Stone in the game. As far as, you know, on Tuesday and Wednesday, you know, he was still splitting reps with Nick early in the week. You know, it was the first time we've seen him in a team setting, as far as especially when we go good on good, and seeing him make those throws that he needs to be able to make and move around. And so we would feel confident in putting Stone in the game, but at this point right now, Correa will be our starter.
They have their best player really, numbers 31, that this running back they put in as the wild card or the wildcat. You know, what have you seen about him when you watch him play?
Yeah, I mean, similar to they're a physical team. I mean, I think when you think of Coach Mallory and the way that he's done an outstanding job building that thing, it's going to be on toughness, playing good defense, running the football, and you know, those guys do that. They showed a little bit. Like, they played in tough conditions last week against Illinois State. I mean, that was a monsoon on film, and the wind was blowing, and there was at times that there wasn't really anybody in the stands, I don't think, and it was so it was going to be a grinded out type of game, you know. In Illinois State, I mean, going into the 4th quarter, it's 10-7, you know, it really was a rugby punt fest there for a little bit, you know, back and forth as far as punting it to each other, and Illinois State was able to slip some, but they did a good job of creating some offense with the Wildcat, and we've got to be ready for that, you know, and so they got some good capable backs that run hard, and you know, we got to be ready for a couple different quarterbacks that they've shown to play, and so our defensive staff will do a great job of putting in a good plan.
What type of defense do they run?
They're a 4 down front. They play a lot of man coverage. You know, same coordinators as last year, same our defensive coordinator, different offensive coordinator. Really the same philosophy. I mean, same thing as us. I mean, you're not out there to try to trick somebody. You got to play good, solid football and fundamental football, and they do a good job of that, of mixing up pressures and mixing up, you know, what they're doing in their front structures and bringing, you know, like I said, bringing pressures. You know, 46 is one of the best linebackers that will play, and I think he's, you know, had his 300th career tackle, and he's always played well against us, and so they do a good job on defense. They do, of making you earn everything and keeping things in front, but they do challenge you. Our receivers are going to have to play well. They're going to have to block well, and they do a good job on defense.
Have you noticed any different, since Williams has been pretty effective, have you noticed any different setups to defend him from other teams that from the first part of the season to now?
Yeah, I mean, every team's going to have their way to defend, you know, a running quarterback. I think that Javon being able to throw the football, you know, they're going to play some type of man, you know, when you put him back there, and it's a, you know, wildcat type. You're going to try to get an extra guy. You have to try to get an extra guy down there, just because you have an extra guy running the ball. So, but again, I mean, there's only, you got 11 guys, and we've seen just about every different way that you can try to get down in there, and we've got to do a good job of mixing things up, and Javon does such a good job of, sometimes there's an unblocked guy, and Javon's 240 pounds, and so got to stay efficient with what we're doing, and you know, trying to just, like I said, execute and block and run through tackles.
I'm kind of slow. This Wildcat thing, basically, just listening to you the past few weeks, you get empty backfield, Wildcat, you've got one more blocker.
Yeah, I mean, you just,
Is that right?
anytime you can run the quarterback, you're usually +1. I mean, if you're a traditional type, you know, you're going to have, you know, you got 5 offensive linemen. If you got a tight end there, it's going to be a 6-man box. If you bring 7 down in there, you got to throw it because they got an extra guy. You know, if they bring 7 in the box and your quarterback's running it, and your running back can block, now you've got an opportunity to get a hat on a hat, and so it's all about numbers and space. And if they bring too many guys down in there, at some point you got to be able to throw it and get open on the outside. So that's how football's always been, and anytime you can run the football with the quarterback, you know, you got the extra blocker with the running back and can do some different things.
Have they played a lot different without Glasgow, number 6, their linebacker, was the tackles for loss?
They haven't really, you know, as far as there's been some different guys that have had to step up and play in his place. You know, I don't know exactly what his injury is, but expect him to be able to come back and play. He's a good player, played against us last year, and I'm sure they're wanting him to get back. But as far as what they do as a defense hasn't really changed.
Looks like Cox's addition is pretty significant for your club this year. Gives you 3 receivers and a number of things. Another runner. I mean, did you expect that when you signed him, that he'd be an immediate contributor in the 19?
I did, yeah. I mean, when we signed him, and you go back and listen to, I knew that he had the capability of being a big time playmaker for us, you know, and did that, you know, consistently in the spring. He was our most productive receiver all spring as far as catches and things. Landon has always been that guy too. And so I think both those guys are doing a really good job, but Avante does such a good job. You saw some of his explosiveness really all season, but you know, a couple of those times that he got loose, and he's a strong runner. He's a tough kid. He's a good blocker. And so, but yeah, when we signed him, I mean, we signed him to be able to come in here and make an immediate impact, and he's doing a good job of that.
You never want to underestimate
No. I mean, like I said, I mean, if there's a 4-4 team out there in the country that's taking a breath, then we're not doing a good job as coaches, to be honest with you. I mean, this team's beaten us 2 out of 3 years. We're 4-4. 4-4 doesn't get you anywhere. Like I said, I mean, we're not a top 10 team. We got to go out there and earn it every single day. We're focused on Indiana State, and it's just not coaches talk either. I mean, if you go walk in our building right now, there's not a lot of hooping, hollering, and smiling, and it's back to work, business as usual. I've been locked in my office the whole morning and haven't really seen anybody either. They're all in there doing their job, and players came in yesterday with the same focus. And like I said, if we got a mature leadership on the, Cody Kreider and Jeremy Chin and DJ Davis and Malik and all those guys. I mean, it doesn't 4 wins. It wasn't on any standard or goal or that we had. So we put ourselves in a better position than we were a few weeks ago. And if we want that to continue, then we need to go out and play well on Saturday.
You kind of, Victor White, you've been stuck on 2 conference wins, 2-2 and 2. So you talk about 1-game seasons. Their hope's big.
Yeah, I mean, it's if we want to, like I said, if we want to continue for the games to be meaningful and continue to go on, then Saturday's the only thing in our vision right now is to play well on Saturday, to have a great practice tomorrow, all those things. We can't get. That's what I said. I mean, it's if you get complacent, there's no room for complacency in any football team. And so you got to be able to play with some expectations. That's what our program needs to get to. It hasn't been there the last, however many years, really since we, made the playoffs. And so that's what our goals of this program are. So we need to get, expect that. And I think these players are excited for that, and they understand the process to continue to win.
Anything else?
All right.
Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.